What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Misplayed Magic, the only Magic the Gathering YouTube channel doing giveaways based on how I draft. You'll see up on this screen, if I get 0 wins in this draft, I'm giving away a collector booster pack. All the way down to 7 wins, I'll be giving away a draft. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below. Last video, we ended up getting a trophy, so I will be giving away a draft to one of you. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel. Go ahead and join along for the fun. Hopefully you like winning some Magic the Gathering prizes, as well as watching some fun content. So let's jump into the draft here. Alright, let's jump in and see what rare we're starting out with here. Alright, so the rare out of the pack is All Out Assault, which is a fantastic Mardu card. So I think we're going to go in that direction here. We also could take the Mardu land here, but I think we got to try out, at least try to make the fun mythic card work here. And we'll kind of have an eye on Mardu cards specifically. So here, Mardu Devotee is really strong. It does a good job of filtering your draws and then also helping you cast all of your Mardu spells. I also think that Molten Exhale is extremely strong here, as well as the Nomad Outpost. It's a really hard choice between the three of these because I do think we're going to be passing something fairly good to somebody else in this pod, but I think we're going to take the Molten Exhale here. It just, to me, it's pretty hard to find good removal spells, and this seems like a really strong one here. Continuing with this pack, we've got the Reigning Victor, which is a super solid Mardu card, as well as the Narset's Rebuke, the Osseous Exhale, and the Caustic Exhale. All really strong removal spells. We're going to take the Caustic Exhale here. I've been a huge fan of that card, and we're excited to pick it up. Continuing with this pack, in Mardu, we've got the Reigning Victor. The Unsparing Boltcaster is alright. It can be good for Mobilize. And then we've also got the Riling Dawnbreaker here. I do think the Alchemist's Assistant is good. I'm not sure it really cares about being in a Mardu deck specifically. But I think it is kind of a premium too, so we're going to just try and make that work here. Here I'm in between either the Gormag Rakshasa as a kind of top-end card here, the Molten Exhale is another removal spell, or just taking the tapped land for fixing. I think here we're going to go with the Exhale, just as a really premium removal spell. Now we've got some choices. So we could take the Loxodon Battle Priest as more of a mid-rangey Mardu deck, kind of improving our attackers. Or we could take an Evolving Wilds and try to just kind of improve our mana base as much as possible. I'm going to take the Loxodon Battle Priest. I think it is just a super solid top end here. So here I'm in between the Jeskai Devotee and the Embermail Sentinel. Neither one I feel fantastic about, but we're going to go with the Devotee here just as a 2-mana play that can help us filter for a white mana if we need it. We could go the Tempest Talk route, although I don't think it's particularly strong. We can also take the Fire Rim form. I don't think we're missing out too much out of this pack. So I think we are going to take the enchantment here, noting it is not a super strong pack. I don't know that we're for sure going to be playing this. I'll take another, maybe we should just take the fixing here. In the off chance we end up trying to play green, we'll try it. Alright, so here we can either go with the Bearer of Glory or the Breaching Dragonstorm. I think we're going to be interested in just having really good 2s, and I like the Bearer of Glory quite a bit. Just with that first strike potential, also with the All-Out Assault, could be really, really strong having first strike and also Death Touch. So we'll try it here. And we will really try in the second and third pack to have an eye out for fixing as much as we possibly can. Alright, here I think we're going to go with the Reigning Victor. I think we need a little bit more creatures than we currently have. And Narset's Rebuke is good, but we've got a couple removal spells we feel great about. So let's take the Reigning Victor here. I will take a Wild Ride. I don't think we're going to be playing it, but you never know. Maybe if we're getting really aggressive. We'll take a Bloodflies. I'm not a huge fan of that card, especially not in Mardu, but you never know. Alright, moving into this next pack, we've got some fun picks. So Inevitable Defeat is extremely strong. Can't be countered. Exile non-land permanent. Its controller loses 3 life. We gain 3 life. So a really, really premium removal spell in Mardu specifically. But also there's a Sonic Shrieker, which when it enters it does 2 damage to any target. We gain 2 life. And then we can make our opponent discard a card. This is a tough choice. It is a tough choice. I think right now our creatures need some work more than our spells do, but Inevitable Defeat is just such a good card. Especially if we get really aggressive. I'm going to try it. I think it's just extremely strong for our game plan. And here we have tons of good options. Alright, so Anafinza is fantastic. Whenever a non-token creature we control dies, it endures 2. It's really great for going wide. We also could play the Stadium Headliner as a really premium 1-drop, or the Starry-Eyed Skyrider, giving our mobilized tokens flying. We don't have a ton of mobilize yet, but I do think this would be good for starting that. I think we're going to go with the rare, just because it's got a really good ability to pick off one of their cards and also just make an army of 2/2s, help us go wide. Now I do think Shocking Sharpshooter, it's a tongue twister, is fantastic for our deck specifically. So after we take this card, we're going to have an eye out for Mobilize specifically, just trying to get as many tokens in as we can, dealing as much damage as we can. Here it looks like Mardu is relatively open, because I think the Bone Cairn Butcher is fantastic. It gives attacking tokens we have Death Touch, and then it also has Mobilize 2 itself. So we're more than happy picking that up here. We have a ton of gold cards, which is super fun. So we could continue on the path and take Frontline Rush here as a really solid combat trick, or as making a couple of goblins. But I think we're going to take a pause here for a second and do the smart thing and just take the land fixing here in the Bloodfell Caves. I really like the start we've had, but it would be a shame if we started getting mana screwed. So I'm going to start trying to just make this mana base as good as I possibly can as we continue through this pack. Alright, now we've got our choice between Duty Beyond Death, which is a fantastic kind of combat trick, or we could pick the Mardu Devotee, both of which are really strong. I think we have to take the Duty Beyond Death. It's just objectively more fun. The Devotee is fantastic. Here we have either another Inevitable Defeat or a Bearer of Glory, or the Underfoot Underdogs, or Zergo's Vanguard. So many good choices here. I think it would be a shame if we didn't take another Inevitable Defeat. Just think it's so strong. Here we will take the Frontline Rush, noting a lot of good Mardu cards are wheeling around to us, which is a fantastic feeling. We would like to pick up a Mardu Devotee if I was picking, but we like our setup quite a bit here. Here, I want to prioritize getting creatures. I actually like the Underfoot Underdogs quite a bit, just as we go wide and try to make things unblockable. So we're going to go with that here. Now we're going to take a 2-drop in the Shock Brigade, which I think will be good. We'll pick up another Reigning Victor. We're more than happy to do so here. And here we'll take a Defibrillating Current as well. Mardu is wide open. We have a tremendous amount of gold cards here. We'll take the Sun Shield. I don't think we'll play it, but we also might play the Brigade. I'll put it in the main deck for now. Alright, moving into this final pack, we need to prioritize fixing. That's going to be huge for us. We also, if we look at our curve, we've got a lot of 2s. And I want to just make sure that we have enough creatures. Okay, so I think we do. So I think what we're going to do here, it's between either the Quarry Mountain Stalwart, which is great for really aggressive starts. The Sarkhan is good, but we don't have a lot of dragons to back it up with. We could take the Stormblade Attainment or the Coordinated Maneuver as well as solid removal spells. For me, I'm going to take the Quarry Mountain Stalwart. I think it's going to be, we're going to have the potential to wheel a couple of spells together here. And that's just a really, really solid 3-drop for us. So our curve looks nice. We've got 13 creatures, 9 non-creatures. And we'll look to continue. Wow, that is a Dragonback Assault, which is fantastic. But I don't think we can take it, sadly. I know we cannot take it. So we're not getting much land fixing here. But I do think we're more than happy picking up the Starry-Eyed Skyrider for a bit of an aggressively slanted bit here. Here there's just fantastic cards coming around. So it looks like Temur ended up being wide open, which I would not have predicted. Roar of Endlessong is fantastic. We had that in our last draft video. Super strong. Dracogenesis is fun, but we are not interested. We are more than happy to pick up a Devotee here. I think it's going to be a little bit stronger than picking up an Evolving Wilds, just for us trying to have the quickest start as possible and filtering our mana as best as we possibly can here. So there are a couple of really fun cards in this pack. I do think the Battle Priest is pretty strong as a top-end creature card. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a little bit more top-end on this deck. The Zergo's Vanguard is also quite strong, but I think the Battle Priest is good enough to where we're very interested in picking that up. And now we'll take our first Coordinated Maneuver. I do think it's really strong. It is an instant, so we can use it when we've got a lot of creatures on the battlefield. Here we're just going to pick up the land fixing. We're a little bit short on that. That's my only kind of fear with this deck, is we have 2 tapped lands. But we'll probably draw really well. It's going to be great. Because we were playing hard 3 colors here. Here we'll take another Underfoot Underdogs. I don't know if we're going to end up playing all of those, but we might. Here we'll take another Coordinated Maneuver. Removal. Again, I don't know that we're going to play it. Yeah, so it looks like Temur ended up being wide open here. We'll take a Nightblade Brigade. I don't think we're going to play it, but we might. Here we'll take another Fire Rim Form. I think we're going to end up trying to take as much black out of the deck as possible and just playing a really strong kind of red-white start. And then we'll be splashing for all of our black-gold cards here. We'll take an Unburied Earthcarver. I think the effect on that is just a little bit too expensive for us. So here, looking at our deck, we're at 43 cards. We've got 15 creatures, 11 non-creatures. I think we're only going to cut some of the non-creatures here, but this is a super, super fun looking Mardu deck. Alright, so here is the deck that we are going to end up playing with. We took out a couple of cheaper removal spells. We took out a lot of our black cards, and I think the goal is that we're just going to kind of try and curve out kind of playing a red and white aggressively slanted deck, and then hopefully our gold cards can kind of take us over the hump at the end here. This is what we're going to go with. Let's go ahead and jump into our first game here. Alright, jumping into our first game here with this deck. We get to go first here, which is nice, but we don't have any creatures, which feels quite bad. I do think we're going to mulligan this. This looks much better. Still a bit of a slow start, but at least we can kind of do things. I'm going to get rid of the inevitable defeat here. Just trying to keep as many creatures as we can, and we'll try to overcome a slower start here, or just draw our 2-drop. So our opponent is playing a Fleeting Effigy, which is a strong start. We are going to get fortunate enough to draw a 2-drop in our Jeskai Devotee, which is great. They have a Jeskai Devotee of their own. And then here we are going to not attack, and we're going to hold up our Molten Exhale. Probably for next turn. Hopefully we can draw a land and play our Bone Cairn Butcher here. So here I do think we're in the business of trying to prevent as much damage as possible. Humbling Elder was not on my bingo card for cards they had. I was thinking through combat spells, sure. So we'll take 2 there still. Hopefully we can draw an untapped land here and slow them down a little bit. So we are going to play the Bone Cairn Butcher here. And hopefully they can't remove it quite yet. So we are not going to block because they can pump it with the Jeskai Devotee, giving it a red mana. Jeskai Monument is the play. And then here, I do think we're going to want to get a little bit aggressive here. I think if they had a removal spell, they would have fired it off. So we're just going to play our Bone Cairn, attack with our Bone Cairn Butcher here, and then hopefully block with the Lockstone Battle Priest next turn. So they're going to make 2 1/1 tokens with their turn. Again, I think if they had a removal spell, they would have used it. So it's indicating to me that we kind of have a go ahead here. I do think we're going to put a 1/1 here and just attack here. Looks like they're going to chump. And I don't think we want to use removal yet. So we're just going to continue to hold our inevitable defeat and our Molten Exhale here. So I'm going to play the Salt Road Pack Beast and draw a card. And then play a Mardu Devotee. Pretty strong turn by our opponent here. But I think us being able to attack here and then leaving up the inevitable defeat is going to be pretty strong. Looks like they are going to start attacking. So we're going to start by playing a Molten Exhale on the Pack Beast. That way now we have a pretty good attack with our Bone Cairn Butcher here. And if they triple block, then we can take something out with the inevitable defeat, which would feel pretty great. They also look like they are just going to take it. So we're going to play a Mardu Devotee of our own. Shock Brigade is fine. Actually, I don't think it's particularly strong on this board, so we're going to put both of those back. So it looks like our opponent could take the Jeskai Monument, put it back on top of their deck. They're probably not going to do that. So we will continue to take 2 here. So I'm going to continue putting counters here and also attacking here. And then we're just going to play out our Starry-Eyed Skyrider to hopefully slow down their birds here. And then next turn we'll have a pretty good attack as well. So it looks like our opponent is running out of steam a bit here, which is nice for us. So we are going to block like this. Just to minimize damage as much as possible. And then we are going to play this pretty aggressively here. If we Molten Exhale the Messenger, now we can attack here and here. I guess we should probably attack here as well. And we can hold up Inevitable Defeat. Let's do that. And we will give this flying, I guess. So as it stands, our opponent is going to take 7, so we can just exile this permanent, and they will take 3, and we get there. Alright, first game felt really strong there. Into game 2 here. Our hand is a little bit slow, but I think it's good enough to warrant keeping this. We'll play our tapped land. We'll play another tap land. And the next turn I do think we want to play the Stalwart first, so we can play the Reigning Victor targeting the Stalwart, which is nice. And then we'll kind of figure out what we want to do. So they're going to play a Shocking Sharpshooter of their own. We're just going to play out the Stalwart. We could Inevitable Defeat it if we feel really nervous about it next turn. But I think I would much rather play the Inevitable Defeat targeting the Brushmaster. So we're going to do that, and the turn after we can double spell, which would feel great. So we'll take 1 here. What's nice is we will be able to attack through the Dawnbreaker with our Reigning Victor here. We've gotten very lucky the way we've been drawing our land so far. So we will play a Plains. Yep, and then we're going to play our Reigning Victor, targeting the Stalwart. And then instead of pushing in 2 more damage, I do think we're interested in just making the 2 goblins and draining them for 2 and us gaining 2 life here. I think that exchange is certainly worth it. And then we are going to play 2 red goblin creatures. So next turn we'll either play Inevitable Defeat, targeting the Dawnbreaker, or we might also play the Loxodon Battle Priest. So I do think we're interested in I think we're going to double spell here and get real aggressive. So let's start by playing the Inevitable Defeat, targeting the Dawnbreaker. We'll see what they're holding mana up for. And then I'm going to go ahead and just fire this off on the Sharpshooter before we attack. Actually, I think I'm going to do it before we... So that is fine. I am going to do the coordinated maneuver now on the Sharpshooter. Our opponent will take 4. And then hopefully the Battle Priest is enough to get it done next turn. Alright, we get there. Game 2. Alright, heading to Game 3 here. Let's see if we can't keep it up. We've got a great job of getting our colors here. We've got some creatures, we've got some spells. This looks like a great opening hand for us to start here. So I do think we'll want to play the Bearer of Glory first here, and then hopefully play the Reigning Victor with that. They do have countering mana up, but I think we have to just play through that. If it gets countered, it gets countered. We have a Veteran Ice Climber. Hopefully we can try and attack through that. Synchronized Charge is the play from our opponent. They might try to mill us out. Yeah, they are. I like it. So now Molten Exhale doesn't quite get it done. We'll see if we can't try to entice them to block here. So we are going to go ahead and give it +3/+3 until end of turn. So they... what did they just do? They returned nothing to their hand? Oh, they returned this to their hand. Oh my goodness. All right, that was confusing. So now we can play the Underfoot Underdogs next turn and also play a Molten Exhale on whatever creature they play here, which probably feels pretty good. I also think we're fine starting by attacking. It is mildly concerning that they have this much mana available, but I do still think playing one of the Underfoot Underdogs makes a lot of sense here, as opposed to pushing in 3 more damage. And we'll see. Ice Ridge Serpent is the play from the opponent. I think they'll put back our Bearer of Glory. They won't. Interesting. So I'm going to play a Reigning Victor. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Yeah, I think we have to play the Reigning Victor first. Targeting here, and then we'll play the Coordinated Maneuver to deal damage here. And then we'll do 5. Alright, the deck is continuing to run well. Alright, we go first here. I do think we want to keep this. It's a little bit slower, but I think it's going to be good enough. We'll see. Next turn we can play the Underfoot Underdogs. Turn after we can play the Reigning Victor. Opponent's playing the Corroding Dragonstorm. They get to Surveil 2. Kind of thought this card was going to be a lot better when I first saw it released. Here I think we are more interested in playing the Underdogs and going wider. And then next turn we can debate between the Reigning Victor and the Anafenza, depending on what they play. So we're going to play it slow with the Dragonstorm Globe. So we're going to try and get a bit aggressive here. So we are going to play the Reigning Victor. We'll do the 2 on the black mana. We'll do 3. Opponent is going to play an Ambling Storm Shell, which is quite strong here. So I'm going to play another Reigning Victor, targeting the other Reigning Victor, just to try to push forward a little bit of damage. And now we're just going to try to go as wide as we possibly can to hopefully be able to play a Duty Beyond Death that is effective. Or we can double spell and play like a Shock Brigade and an Anafenza. So we'll see. The Storm Shell is definitely slowing us down a lot here, which is good for them. Ooh, and they are going to attack with it. That I probably disagree with. So we'll take 5. We're actually happy with that. But now it's kind of opened up to where we have some fun attacks of our own. So if we attack with both of the Reigning Victors and they block one of our Reigning Victors, we now can cast a Duty Beyond Death. So I do think it is worth it to do that. They also get indestructible, which is fantastic. We will sacrifice one of the mobilized tokens. And yeah, that felt pretty good. And now we'll play out the Shock Brigade as well. And then hopefully next turn we can attack for a bunch here. The opponent does have access to a ton of mana and they have a ton of cards. They're going to play a Sagu Wilding here. And then maybe they'll play the Dragonstorm as well to surveil again. But I think we need to just get as aggressive as we possibly can. We'll probably play the Anafinza to make an additional 2/2 when they block here. And then we can play our Mardu Devotee. So let's start by attacking everywhere. So if our opponent does have Death Begets Life, it's insane, and it's fantastic for them. We're not playing around it. If they have it, great. They kill our entire board. But this is just too fun not to do, so we're going to try to go for it here. Roar of the Endless Song is also pretty strong. But if they don't have anything else, they do have something else. That plus a removal spell. So I do think we want to just get as aggressive as possible here. So I'm going to put the 1/1 counter on the reigning victor so that it can trade. And then hopefully we have enough to push through some damage here. They're going to get a turn at restabilizing their board, but they're at 1, which doesn't feel great for them. If they Death Begets Life here, it's going to be insane. But they don't, so we get there. Very clean. Alright, looking to continue the hot streak here. Opponent goes first. We don't have a Plains in this hand, so I think it's just a little bit too slow. We were due to have some more starting hands. We're going to go to 5 here. I'm going to get rid of Duty Beyond Death as well as the Battle Priest to start here. And hopefully we can try and overcome a 5-card start here. The Botanist is good. The land is also solid here. So they're going to get some value here for sure. Alright, now I think we're just going to play out the Underfoot Underdogs. And we're going to try and just withstand this as much as we can for a second here. Synchronized Charge is the play, so they can hit us pretty good here and then also draw a card. That feels quite strong. I think we're just going to take it. The Vigilance piece of that is really nice. Looks like they're searching for a land. No, they're not. They already had one. So we draw another land. There's not much we can do here. I think we might have to literally play all-out assault defensively, which is a huge bummer. I think I do worry about the Botanist just running us over here, so I am going to kill it. It definitely does not feel great. But I think that we're just at too much of a risk for them just completely running over us here. Champion of Doosan is their play. I believe they're going to attack us for 4 here. Enoch Wayfarer is also quite strong. Okay, so we are going to... Ooh, that's a pretty interesting draw. So if they synchronize charge next turn, they're doing a ton of damage. My issue is if we play this, they can just block us. But I think they're for sure playing this card on their turn, so I think we have to just do this. It does not feel great. And we're just going to have to try and hold the line here. A defensive all-out attack. Perfect. I don't think we really have a chance here, but that's okay. And this allows us to somewhat block. So we're going to get quite a bit of life back here from the Champion of Doosan. It only becomes a 5/3. I think we're okay with that. And we kill it. They do get to draw a card and lose a life, which is good. So we will play our Bearer of Glory here. And then we're just going to keep trying to stabilize as much as we can here. Anafinza playing with a defensive Death Touch in mind does feel pretty fun as a first strike Death Toucher. So we'll see what we can do here. So I do think they probably have a removal spell in hand. But I think we have to go for it. Alright, they don't, which is huge. Revel of the Ancestors is fantastic. Really good deck by our opponent here. I think we'll continue to just hold on for a second here. Trample and Lifelink will definitely be good, especially with the Marshal of the Lost. Just creating a big trampling creature will be strong. But if we can keep Anafinza alive, it makes it really, really hard for them to attack effectively. We'll see what they do here. Host of the Hereafter is great. I'm hoping we can just try and hold on. I'm wondering if they're thinking about playing the Synchronized Charge. Really fun Abzan deck out of our opponent here. They are going to. Okay. They have one card in hand. So let's block like this. So we'll see if they put the counters on the creatures that are about to die. Sure. And we will make a 2/2 here. Bone Cairn a Butcher feels pretty good. I think we just played out. Alright, we're trying to hold on. I do think we will start attacking with the Bearer of Glory. And then we'll continue trying to hold on here. Lifelink and Trample is pretty good. Armored Dragon is great. What if they'll just put all the counters on the dragon eventually? We'll need to withdraw some sort of removal spell for that. We might be close to dead here. 8/8. So they've got 13, 19. So let's double block like this. Let's double block like this. Let's block this here. As it stands, we'll take 1 and we'll take 7. Let's do that and we'll make another 2/2. They might just put him on that. Yeah. So we're going to take 8 here instead. We will make another 2/2, but we are dead in the sky. So we need to draw some sort of removal effect here. Yeah, 8 counters is not so bad. We'll continue making 2/2s. Or 3/3s. Alright, removal spell off the top! Oh, we don't get there! What a fun try, though. I mean, we get close, but we do not quite get there. Get him down to 4. Oh, so close. So close. That was a good game. I think we were actually right to play it defensively. If they don't draw the Armament Dragon there, we're way ahead by the end of that. But it is what it is. That was really fun. Really close. Alright, jumping into game number 6. We go first. This hand is a little bit slow, though. I think we're going to try it again. We'll try this and put back Duty Beyond Death, and hopefully we can draw a Plains off the top here. That's also okay. We'll play our Shock Brigade. Looks like we might have a Mardu on Mardu match here. Sinkhole Surveyor is quite good. I'm just going to get rid of that. I've seen that card get way out of hand, so I think it's worth it to remove it early. And then hopefully we can draw any land here would be great. So I think it would be foolish to waste a Molten Exhale here. So we are not going to. Hopefully we can draw any land next turn. It's a much better target for our Molten Exhale here. We are going to fire that off. And then continue attacking. Any land off the top would be great. An island would be fantastic. I mean, a plains would be fantastic. Alright, so we lose our Shock Brigade there. This is not great. Any planes, any land at least stabilizes us a little bit, but this is gonna hurt. Yeah. Sharpshooter's not fantastic. Any land would be great. I don't think we would have wanted to go to 5. Maybe we should have tried the opening hand, but it would have been pretty slow. Yeah, this is tough. Yeah, alright. But it happens. That's magic for you. Hopefully we can turn it around in this next one. Opponent goes first. I do think we keep this. And we do draw the planes this time, which is great news. So I think we want to start by playing the Shock Brigade, and then the following turn we can either play the Reigning Victor or the Shocking Sharpshooter. Opponent's playing an Embermouth Sentinel. We'll see how many different colors. They've got 4 so far. I don't think they took that. Do you have to reveal it? Yes, they did not want that. So we're just going to play out the Shock Brigade here. It's a decent blocker as well. Hardened Tactician is their play. I think that we're interested in playing the Reigning Victor here, so that next turn we can play the Sharpshooter plus the Molten Exhale if we draw another mountain. We also can try and play Duty Beyond Death next turn if we want to get aggressive. But I'm not sure we want to do that. So we do not draw the other mountain, so we can't do exactly what I was thinking. But we can do this. And then we can try and play our Duty Beyond Death. I actually think it's not worth it to play the Duty Beyond Death yet, so we're just going to hold off for a second. Might have to wait for a moment before attacking here. Looks like our opponent is splashing green for something. I'm not sure we're going to see it. This looks like they want to attack us here. I do think with this moving a little bit slower, we're interested in just kind of bolstering our board a little bit. So I'm going to put a 1/1 counter on the Shock Brigade so that in future turns we might have a decent attack. So I do think we want to get rid of that. That attack is so strange to me. So let's do that. We'll Molten Exhale here. lifelink and hexproof until end of turn. That's definitely strong. So let's not... Oh, activated abilities. Oh, that's a triggered ability. Duh. So I'm going to put this here. And then I do think we're interested in attacking with these two. And getting at least a little bit aggressive here. This also might have been wrong just because they're going to get the... No, I think it's good. We can pick off one of their things. And also put counters on ours. Yeah, this would be a good exchange. Yeah, we would definitely take this. I mean, they've got to know we have something. So we're going to sacrifice this. We'll do 4 like so. Does get some life back, which is good, but I think we've done a good job of making the board swing our way there. Yeah, that was definitely worth it. Iridescent Tiger is fine. So I'm going to play the Starry-Eyed Skyrider pre-combat. That way we can put a counter onto it. I don't think we want to attack... Yeah, there's not a great attack here for us. But we can put the counter here. And then we'll end our turn. Hopefully they can draw a land here. Or a removal spell. That works too. So I do think we want to kind of build up some of our other smaller creatures here. I don't see us attacking anytime soon. It's going to take a couple of turns before we can. Unless we get all out assault here. Coordinated maneuver is pretty strong. I think now it's worth it to start attacking. So let's put it here. And then let's attack with these two. We can start getting a little bit more aggressive here. And my hope is that we can pick off something they're blocking with and the other thing will die. So they're going to quad block like this. I think we're fine taking out the Iridescent Tiger here. And then dealing 4 to the Conqueror and the Outrider. Yeah. Alright. We've cleared out the board. Opponent drew a land, which is great. And we get there. Holy cow, another sweaty game. These have been fun today. We improved to 5-2 on the day, which is great. Alright, our opponent goes first here. We can't keep this. Oof. I mean, if we don't draw a Plains, we are dead. Dead. I think we have to mulligan. Alright, we have our colors here at least. We'll keep 5. We'll put back a swamp. And we'll put back a coordinated maneuver. Whew. And we're going to try here. Had some tough openers today. It's not a bad draw. Alright, our opponent is playing slowly here, which is good for us. Tomb Guard is alright. We are going to play the Quarry Mountain Stalwart. So our opponent's going to whack us for 3 and draw a card. Pretty good start for them. I do think... we're relatively interested in just establishing the board here a little bit. I don't think it makes sense for us to attack, though. Oh, I feel so bad about this. I don't think we can block. I really feel like they have a combat trick. And next turn we can block and play Inevitable Defeat to kind of counteract it. Marshal of the Lost is good. So our opponent is playing a Desolate Earth Carver. Looks like they're going to make a 3/3 here. So it becomes a 3/3. I do think we need to block it. Which doesn't feel great, but we can kill either the Tomb Guard or whatever they put a counter on this turn. I'm going to take out the Tomb Guard, just because I feel like that's going to be too much value. We'll gain some life, and then we will go with the Underfoot Underdogs. Any land next turn would be huge. We're going to probably take a bit of a hit here. Another Marshal of the Lost is quite good. So we would... yeah, this is bad. We'll chump one of them. So I think we'd rather just establish the board a little bit than all-out assault. I don't know that it's going to matter. But if they make like a really chaotic attack here, we at least have a chance. Alright. I don't think they will, though. So as it stands, if we block this, we're taking 14 exactly. We'll do this. I mean, we're close to doing something here, but we just don't quite have it, sadly. Looks like they have a removal spell too. Yeah, nothing we can do. We fought as hard as we could here, so we're not quite Not quite going to get there. All right, we can go ahead and concede. I think we lost to Abzan twice and then a Mana Screw once, so, you know, it's going to happen. But that was a really, really fun deck. I've not gotten to really draft a Mardu all that often. It felt really strong. When we were curving out, it felt just absolutely unbeatable. I don't know if we would have made any edits. I thought about maybe putting in another Plains and taking out a Swamp. But let me know in the comments, what would you have done differently to maybe push us over the edge here? Maybe leaving a defibrillating current in. But I like the deck that we had. I thought our curve was fantastic. And hey, we went 5-3. Not so bad. Alright, so based on our draft today, we'll be doing a rare card giveaway to one of you. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and like this video, and stay around for more giveaways to follow as we do a lot more drafts of Dragonstorm here. Thanks y'all for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time.